Good morning and what's going on? Welcome to another Subie Shaves video on a beautiful day. Hashtag Team All Blade and hashtag No Blade Left Behind. Come on in, throw me a Subie smell, and all I gotta say is squad goals. Thank you for being here, for clicking into our link today, and for joining me. Hopefully wherever you're watching from, you've got something cold in your hand, you're sitting in a comfy chair, and you're ready for a shave. Today I've got an awesome one lined up for us. I've got just over 5 days of growth. 5 full days, and we're going to be shaving it off and kind of doing that side by side comparatively with the adjustable stainless steel slant razors offered by YAQI. Grace and her wonderful team sent these our way so that we could compare them side by side just right after the release, right? I actually got a little bit before. It took me a second to get this up, but I'm absolutely thrilled because I keep getting asked to compare these two side by side. We've got the stainless steel slope razor, again, a very mild but efficient, high-performing razor from Grace. It's a slant, and we're going to be showcasing that and kind of doing a battle side by side with their brand new TORQX razor. Look at this thing, it's wild. The side profile alone should tell you how different these are going to feel on the skin, and I'm excited to see if there's a difference in performance and the shave. Oh, it should be awesome. I'm thrilled to have you here for it. We're also going to be looking at and talking about one of my kind of hidden gem secrets, right? This is something that I don't think you'll ever hear, or somebody when it's mentioned, right, it's instantly corrected. But we're going to be doing a little bit of dry brush loading with Future Fiction. I had only a little bit left in this tub, right, and I was just on the verge of running out, and I said to myself, I would like to kind of do the dry brush loading technique that I kind of employ when I'm almost out of soap, right? Means that I'm not going to waste any soap. And how I do that, and I just want to call this out, this is my kind of method, my process, and you do not have to follow this. It works really well for me, and I've been doing it with synthetic brushes for quite a while. What I do is when I get a tub that's running out, especially a soft soap tub, this really works with soft soaps only. But when I have like a pretty soft soap, right, I just take a dry brush, and instead of soaking it and letting the bristles kind of absorb the water up into the back of the brush, I just load it straight dry to pick up and maximize its grabbing potential with friction, right? It's something I've seen it mentioned once or twice, and people said, well, can you lather it if the brush is completely dry? For me, it will not lather, right? But what it will do is it will brush load extremely well. Synthetic brushes, let's just get into this for 1 second while we, look at this stuff. It works so good. Synthetic bristles are not going to absorb water, right? They're going to pull it to the back of the brush, but they're plastic. They can't absorb water, right? So soaking them doesn't actually absorb anything into them. They don't get softer, in my opinion. They stay pretty much like a toothbrush, right? You get them so hot, really, really hot, and they're going to stay in, you may deform the bristles, but overall, right, it's not going to change how much water is in the brush. So just dry loading, for me, hasn't really pulled any bristles out. I haven't seen any deformations. You only do it once in a while when the tub is about to run out. I maybe have done it, 4 or 5 times, and I've never had a problem with it, like deforming a brush. Maybe long-term, that's something you don't want to do long-term, but it works really good for me. And when I'm almost out of soap like this, seems to really do well. Oh, what a beautiful smell. Again, this is Future Fiction, and it's one of my favorites from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. Really like this one a lot. All right, let's do the shave. I'm absolutely thrilled. We got it in hand today, and I'm just so excited because this is a razor that I really wanted to use for a long time, right? It released over at Home, like very similarly to this, right? Very much a tribute of the Walbarush razor of old, right? Very similar to that razor. This razor kind of mimics some of those design features, but modernized it, and they did it in stainless. Now, I think YAQI has really made it their own. They've gone with the flat bar. There's no scallops on it. And I love the fact that you can use the handle of choice. So today I actually opted to use their barber pole handle on the TORQX razor. And I wanted to show you that's kind of what it looks like when you don't do that, right? This is the OEM. This is what comes with the razor. But if you have the Ultima, or you have one of the Ultimas, right, with a different handle design, because it's a Gibbs style, it will screw together and it works. Now, because this handle is slightly shorter, this part will go down too far. And I want to call that out because if you go to adjust it all the way over to like, 6, 7, or anywhere above the maximum amount, it'll lock out. You have to kind of fiddle with the bottom here, unscrew it a little bit to have it max the razor where it should be. But if you're just shaving like at the 4, 5, even in the 6 ratio, this is going to work just fine, right? It's just when you try to go above that it starts locking out with this non-standard handle. And then we're going to be comparing, again, the herringbone. This is their diamond knurling. Take a look here. There's the depth of it. You can see they're very, very deep. They offer a lot of texture and a lot of ergonomic, the capabilities in the hand. Oh, I love them both as far as aesthetic goes, right? If you're a new shaver and you're picking up one of these razors, both of them are going to feel really nice in the hand. If you're a person that has the Ultima series of razors, right, it's already going to feel kind of natural in your hand. And on top of that, you can switch the parts around to make it completely feel like this razor on my right. Now, I would say the head style, right, you can see this is much larger. We're going to be shaving on 4 today. And I want to call that out because I've got like 5 days of growth, right? So it's a lot of growth. But this 4, for me, right, it makes the razor a little bit more tame. And I also haven't compared them side by side at 4. But the TORQX razor, I really want to call this out. It starts off in the 1, 2, 3 as feeling like any standard typical double-edged safety razor other than the angle. You have to kind of go at a weird angle to get it to be perfectly flush to the skin, at least in my skin, because this angle is like very, very extreme. So on the low gap levels, right, the 1, 2, 3, it's kind of hard for me to find the blade because it's so mild. Then at the 4, 5, it feels like kind of strange. You start getting the slant feel, like where you'd expect from a standard slant, like the slope at 4, right? It feels very similar. And then at the 6 and above, it's unlike anything I've ever felt before on the skin. So it's a very odd razor, yeah, for me at least. It just goes from 1 through 3 being very mild, hard to find an angle. 4 and 5 are like, a standard slant, and then to the 6 and above is like kind of something like alien I've never felt before, very unique. So today we're going to go with that just above 4 ratio with both razors, see how they shave first and foremost, but also just get that standard slant angle and fill on the skin today on the dome. It's going to be awesome. Let's do it. Let's start it off and do the TORQX razor on my right here. I want to show you what the 4 just slightly above the 4, honestly, or right. The numbers on this razor are a little smaller, so it looks the same on both razors. But this is like the 4. Take a look here. Let's get it in and let's see how it does here. Take a look. It is super duper efficient. It does not clog, and it really, really, really runs smooth. Wow, I like this. I would say if you're a person that has never used a slant before, this may feel a little intimidating on the top levels, right? I think if you've never used one before and you pick this up, the 1 level is going to give you a kind of an idea of how good the razor can shave as far as the smoothness. But as you go up, right, that is where the real performance of the razor is. And I like it at that 4 ratio, right? I like it a lot at just that 4. It feels much more like you would expect from a slant razor. Not quite as alien to me. I think part of the thing with the TORQX razor is as you go to this upper echelon of the razor's settings, and you can see this blade kind of does this, right? Just a little bit. You can kind of feel the edge of that blade a little more at the top end of the settings, because of how extreme the slant angle is on this razor. Now, the price for the razor is substantially more, right? You're looking at about a $70 to $80 difference, depending on where you're shipping it and all that, because shipping is now being charged. But the new TORQX razor is coming in, for me, on my AliExpress at like $200. So it is not a cheap razor by any means. And I don't think it's made cheap. When you look at it, it doesn't look like your standard, cheaply made. It doesn't really even look like, like a middle class razor, in my opinion, right? In the mid tier, it looks like an upper tier, high, very, very premium razor. And I talked to a couple people about that recently, and I said, can Yaqi really break that barrier, right? Where they've released razors that are kind of the budget line. Can they break into that premium line? And I think the best way they can do it is by, kind of emphasizing the Yaqi professional level, right? And that's something that we saw a couple years back when they started releasing, some of their nicer, heavier, nicer quality brushes and brush knots, right? The professional line. And I think going with the professional line as far as these new stainless steel razors, it feels very upper echelon, very, and I think premium, very much so. Sophisticated, elegant. What a design. What a very beautiful razor. Again, just barely released. I know they're doing them in small batches. I had somebody reach out over on Facebook and said, hey, Subie, why are they already out? Because they're already releasing like kind of so many razors, but they do these things in small batches with the really expensive razors just to make sure they're testing the water, seeing if they will sell. Why make a bunch of them if you're just not going to sell them? So I know they do it in small batches. I think this one has a lot of demand. That sold out really quickly. They refilled, and I think they're almost already back to being empty again. So they're out of stock again. So really, 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 I'd say a high demand razor that has had a lot of like buzz that shaves very good. For me, I like it at 4. I think 4, you saw how fast it was. You saw how smooth it was. You can see the lather running down my head because there's nothing to hold it anymore. It is smooth. It is close, and it's really, really, really enjoyable to use, especially at that 4 angle. It feels like a very much, or 4 number, feels very much like your standard safety, slant safety razor. Really, in my opinion here. I think if you're a person that's using the slope razor, 1 through 6 feels exactly like any other standard, at least to my skin, safety razor. It feels exactly like their standard Ultima, but what you get is a little less blade fill, and you get a lot of smoothness. And I'd say, in replacement of the blade fill, because of the guillotine motion that cuts through the stubble, I get just a little bit closer shave faster. I know a lot of people that said, that there's kind of a back and forth discussion about, the effectiveness and the utility of slants. For me, I love them. Look at this thing. Underrepresented, under talked about, not given enough showtime and spotlight. I love their slope. Oh my goodness. It's still like a razor, even with the brand new Torx in hand, right? When I picked this up, I'm like, oh yeah, it feels like just like every other shave I've used with it. And I've used it dozens and dozens and dozens of times. I am on 5 days of growth. I want to call that out again. You saw how smooth, how easy, how effortless this razor takes it off. For me, I do see a benefit to the slant mechanism and to the guillotine type cutting motion. I do seem to get a closer, faster, easier, longer lasting shave with a razor that has a blade slanted, just for me. And the weight of this, it feels really good in the hand. Feels very, very, very like elegant in the hand. It feels like you've got something premium. Just like it feels like you're giving yourself like a little bit of a treat, right? Giving yourself the nice things in life, and I like that a lot. And it's coming from Grace over at Yaqi, and I think that's really cool, considering that for a long time, right, their stuff was affordable. But I don't think it gave you that same like, ooh, this is really nice in the hand. It has this, like, it gives you that feeling of like, I have something very, very nice in hand. They do come at a slightly higher price, but in the stainless steel that's going to last your lifetime, right? I think it's worth it. I really think it's an investment in your long-term skin health and just the BBS capability. The smooth-tastic skin. Oh man, I love that. I love how easy it is to use. I love how consistent it is. It's one of those razors for me, every single time I've used it, I've had an absolutely phenomenal shave. It's a little, I'd say, slower as far as getting to that completely mirror level BBS, right? Where you could slide around on your skin, right? But I'd say when you get there, after just a couple extra little passes and touch-ups, I have never had irritation. I don't have, flare-ups. I don't have ingrown hairs with this razor. It gives me just such an elegant, very close, comfortable, it just feels very nice post-shave. And that's something that slants for me are almost unbeatable on, is the post shave, and this brings it. All right, so we're all shaved up. Comparatively here, I'm going to say both razors did a phenomenal job. I'm just rubbing my head here. It feels super duper nice. It feels really close. It feels, absolutely awesome. We're going to get re-lathered up here, and I'll be right back, and we'll do some battle passes. Come with me. I am to the bone. Both these razors performed so darn good today. Each one of them gave me a shave I would be completely happy with using the rest of the day. But we're going to grab ourselves the Torx here, and we're going to do a couple cross passes and just see if we can get anything off the slope side. I think if you're a person that's never used a slant before, the upper portion of this razor feels a little intimidating and a little alien. Even to my skin, I'm like coming from a lot of other safety razors. This feels a little crazy, to be really honest, on the upper, like the 6 and above. If you're gonna overclock the razor, which you can do, this razor is going to give you some blade fill. It's going to give you a really close, very fast shave. That's a very specific angle. I would say angles on this razor are critical because you're either going to get something that's not very smooth or you're going to get something that feels a little like too mild, to be honest. If you're like really high up on it, it's not shaving well. So you want to be at the right angle for this angle or for this razor. But at the right angle, this razor absolutely produces such a nice shave. And on the mid-tier level right now, like right now on the 4, I think this razor could compete with just about anything in my den as far as comfort, closeness, and ease of use. The mid-tier on this, and I know it's all about finding your settings, right? I like that this has such a array. You really can go from like pretty darn mild all the way to maximum overdrive. This little guy right here, it has a little bit of blade fill at that upper level, but man, at the low settings, this is tame. It's easy to use. It's head heavy, so it sits right down in my divot nice and easy, and it shaves so darn good. Now, I'm not getting anything off the slope side, so huge shout out, massive call outs for the slope, right? Props to the slopes for still being, relevant. I really like this slope razor. If you can't tell, this is a razor I am very comfortable with, I'm very confident with, because I've used it 12.5 or more times, right? I've used it more times than I've used Lucky Charms. I really like this razor a lot. And I like it because you can see here, the stubble is not from the actual skin, but I'm getting some of it was left over from my shave before that it can come off. Like it'll absolutely clean every portion of stubble of soap off my skin. It absolutely performs at a level that I consistently enjoy. Really love the Yaqi Slope adjustable razor. Absolutely phenomenal razor. Absolutely excellent. If you're looking to just start slants for the first time ever, right? You're kind of a newbie to slants in general, or you just want a safety razor slant, right? That is going to have very low blade fill, and it feels very much like your standard standard blade safety razor. This has got all that going for it. I love the Slope. I think it was an awesome entry into their Ultima series of razors. It's one of the ones that I can't stop picking up, and I consistently I find that I've used, right? I'll come into the bathroom expecting to use one razor, and I'll actually gravitate to this one because I like it so much. Now, as far as having both in the den, I am very excited because they are both razors I would like to pick up on the daily. As far as closeness goes and comparable, how they relate to one another, I think, going side by side, the shaves are extremely comparable. I felt the same way on the face. I actually was like, I really don't think I even need to do the cross passes on the face. I did, but it was so close, so comfortable, so fast and easy. It really honestly didn't have to happen. Wow, that is soft, smooth, just shiny touch me skin. Oh, it feels so darn nice. Let's grab ourselves a little bit of splash and see how we did. Again, Future Fiction, one of my favorites. It just smells really sporty and energetic. And today, that's how I was feeling. Oh, I love that. I hope everyone's day goes phenomenal. Hope it's as good as this shave. And if it isn't, we got to do something about it, right? Your day should start awesome with a fantastic close to the bone shave. Oh, I know today's was awesome. And it was great to have you all here for it. Thank you for joining me. I loved both razors, and I hope you, if you're interested in the Slope or in the YAQI TORQX, you found them this at least enjoyable and entertaining. And if nothing else, informative. Thank you so much for being here. It meant the world to me to have you. If you haven't, please go below, smash that sub button. I'd love to hear from you in the comments and your thoughts about these two beautiful adjustable slant razors. And until I see you down there, Subes out.